Thank you, Councillor Durkin, and congratulations. Thank you for this opportunity. It's nice to have this time speaking to you. My name is Anthony Landry. I'm Political Director of SEIU Local 888. But before my position as Political Director, I was a City of Boston employee for 21 years. Nearly 2 decades of that was as a Boston Police dispatcher. I left that position in February of 2022, and I'm the director of the Commonwealth 911 Peer Support Team, which provides crisis intervention and peer support services to our 911 personnel. Our team operates within the Massachusetts State Peer Support Network, which I also have the honor of serving on the board of directors. I'd like to thank Chief Hooley for bringing up the EMS resources. But we are actually the 4th peer support team. There is more. We were recognized by then Commissioner Evans in 2017 as being a recognized 911 peer support unit for the civilian personnel. Modeling ourselves as well as having the guidance of the Boston Police Peer Support Team, we were formed after the events of the 2013 marathon bombings. Ensuring our team was trained properly and having the services of the best first responder specific clinicians you can find, our team was voted into the Massachusetts State Peer Support Network in 2018. During that time frame, we then encountered the COVID-19 crisis of 2020, shortly after we were formed. In that year of 2020 to 2021, our services to the 911 civilian employees of the Boston Police Operations Division skyrocketed to about 200%. So we did about 1,000 points of contact with the civilian 911 personnel of the division. I also want to provide a little clarification here with the testimony provided by Chief Hooley. I think that folks who may be watching at home need to understand just how 911 is set up. EMS does field 911 calls. But the first point of contact in that is through when you call 911, you hear from a civilian 911 personnel member who then reroutes the call depending on the nature of the incident to fire or EMS. But if it's a police call, that employee holds on to that call until services are rendered. One of the differences between our team and the Boston Police Team, the Boston Fire Team, and the Boston EMS Team is they all have funding for their peer support teams. Our 26 team members who speak 7 different languages, who are LGBTQA+, disabled, cancer survivors, have completely self-funded this team since 2013. To the point where at one point in the Boston Police Operations Labor Division, the words were phrased, they can continue to fund it themselves. So we're currently in 2023. I would like to take an opportunity to thank Mayor Wu, who in April finally recognized and was the first leader in the Commonwealth to do so, recognizing the 911 civilian personnel of the Operations Division as first responders. This is crucial, especially when it comes to mental health resources for the personnel of that division. We heard many of these people lead with 911 is understaffed, 911 is understaffed. Traditionally, 911 civilian personnel, on average nationally, have a 15 to 25% vacancy. Post-pandemic, that skyrocketed to 35. And we appreciate the fact that there was a job fair this past weekend at Boston Police where they had many new recruits come in. I think that there needs to be a more nuanced conversation as well about that, because many of the kids who apply for the job represent every member of the community in Boston. It's the diversity in the Boston Police Department in the 911 division is something to applaud. We have representation from just about every community there. But what we're seeing is a lot of the folks who want to become police officers look at that as their way to get in the door first and then go on to be a police officer. So the turnstile of that division and personnel continues to rotate. So that's why we continue to encompass all these staffing issues as well. But let's go back a little bit to COVID-19. Our peer team created a unique type code. We do anonymous services. We're covered under the Massachusetts Confidentiality Law of 2018. So any services we provide as a crisis intervention team are confidential and anonymous. During that period, we realized that an exorbitant amount of the resources that we were providing for people were COVID-19 related. We had Zoom meetings every Monday with our volunteer clinicians from the On-Site Academy, who are clinicians dedicated to first responder trauma. They took the time to sit there with us on Zoom, talk to our team members, because our team members were overburdened with the amount of points of contact that they performed. And not just to mention the fact that they were serving 16 hours a day. And then let's all get back into 2020 mindset. We all know that there was a shortage on paper towels, toilet paper, cleaning supplies. When you're stuck in a workplace for 16 hours a day, there's going to be nothing on the shelves when you get there. So we were literally relegated to making our own hand sanitizer in our kitchens at home, because the Boston Police Department, a deputy approached me asking if the peer support unit in the union can help get cleaning supplies, because Central Supply deemed that the civilian employees in 911 were last to get cleaning supplies. Then, when personnel was able to find a Lysol can, they would bring it into work and then would face disciplinary action, because one of the civilian bosses, or the sworn bosses, felt that Lysol he didn't like the smell of. So the only piece of PPE and cleaning supply that these employees had literally led to progressive discipline for these people. It was a no-win situation, which is why we saw everyone leave in a mass exodus over the past few years in that division. We are encouraged at the fact that the conversations are taking place now on how we can rectify it. And number one, that starts with culture and with mental health. So one of the things that we are very grateful for is the fact that we actually have a quiet room in the Boston Police Operations Division now. And for the folks watching at home and for everyone here, a quiet room is a place where the crisis intervention team, the Commonwealth 911 peer support team, can provide crisis intervention services to the employees in need in that division in a confidential and anonymous way. The room is set place in the back of the division, because before we used to have to sit in our cars with people to provide consultation to get them in touch with a clinician, back hallways, you never know who's listening. We finally got that room this year. It used to be an old storage closet that actually some of the sworn supervisors used to sleep in back in the day when they would work double shifts as well. While it is an excellent first step, we need to find ways to make sure that it is strictly for crisis intervention and peer support services. Unfortunately, last week, we came upon another sworn supervisor sleeping in that room. The trauma is real. The hopeless feelings are real. The lack of mental health resources for the city and Boston employees is real, but this is an excellent first step. And I applaud you for taking the initiative to have this be your maiden voyage in your first hearing. And we very much look forward to seeing this progress and actually bring real change to the City of Boston employees. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anthony.